Now, I want to talk, before we go on to talk about the blues, because obviously you made a lot more blues albums than the early albums you did, but you also had an interesting relationship with Bob Dylan, didn't you?
Yeah.
You got close with him, and then you actually toured with him later.
Yes.
And even this book we're going to show and talk briefly about later was inspired by him, which you put together. So what was Dylan like as a person? Because there's another character that we get to read different sides of, and we don't really know what he's like.
I've always found him extremely chivalrous and a lot of fun.
That's a good start. Yeah.
Certainly when I met him when I was, 16, when he came, 1965 I think he did the Albert Hall, was when I first met him. So I'd have been just 16, I think. And we stayed friends. I mean, whenever and when he came back the next year, when he came back with the band and people were shouting, "Traitor," in the Albert Hall, ridiculous. And if he wants to record with the band, why can't he? But people were very kind of precious about his folkiness in those days. So then I would see him on and off, and then I didn't see him for quite a long time. And then I get a call, it was 97, from his agent saying he wants you to be the opening act for the British tour, for which I was, yeah. And it was all organised, but I hadn't seen him for about 15, 18 years. And 2 days before the tour started, I get a call, "Hello, this is Bob." Well, I knew which Bob it was. Although I know of quite a few Bobs, but this is Bob. He said, "I'm coming over to talk to you. I'll be there in half an hour." And there he was, half an hour later. Walked into my house. He did something that I really like in a man, rare though it is, though. He goes straight to the books to see, these days most people can't even read, but I'm a reader. He looked at the books and we talked for 4 hours. He lay on my sofa actually with a fennel tea. And I've always found him gentlemanly, and I actually said to him, "Why have you asked me to do this tour after all these years?" And he said, "Because I always remembered, in the 60s, you said you were always so nice." I don't know that nice is particularly the word that one wants to be remembered by, but actually it was a good thing, because he could have thought I was awful. So he went into the top floor of my house. We were giving him a guided tour. And of course I have an Indian guru called Sai Baba, and he immediately said, "Oh, I know who Sai Baba is," because he was very friendly with George Harrison, and George had been with Ravi Shankar to see Sai Baba. So anyway, Dylan pulls out a book from my shelf and says, "Can I have this book?" And it was a book of quotations of world religions. And when he left, I thought, "Hot damn, he likes quotations. I've been collecting quotations for 20 years. I'm going to put a book together too," which is how that book
Mirrors
is.
of Love.
Mirrors of Love. Yeah. And it's words of wisdom through sages, a lot of Sufis and uplifting philosophers and things through the last couple of thousand years, with great artwork.
Yeah.
Because Jörg Huber is a phenomenal artist, but he lives in Vienna. And so it's, in a way, it's thanks to Dylan, and
Yes.
he's got a copy.
So you were in